Hello, dears. Welcome you all to the first session of a lesson, The Best Christmas Present in the World. So far, we have learned about the struggling of Arthur to open a desktop where he found a letter which was written by Jim McPherson to his wife Connie McPherson. In the second part, we have read about the letter, what was there on the letter, what Jim McPherson was writing to his wife, what he was about to say to his wife through the letter. Now it's the third part. Here we are going to see what was the decision of Arthur after reading a letter, whether he handed over the letter to Connie McPherson. After seeing a letter, what was the reaction of Connie McPherson? Let us see. Let's go to the third part of a lesson. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. By morning, knew what I had to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. Here the author was inquiring about the address which was written on the envelope to hand over the letter to Connie McPherson. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burn-out shell, the roof gaping, the window boarded up. I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of Mrs. McPherson. Oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. He knew her well. A lovely old lady, he told me, a bit muddle-headed which means the person who is in a confused state. Obviously it has to be because, but her age, she was entitled to be, wasn't she? She was 101 years old. She had been in the house when it caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could well have been candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. The fireman had got her out just in time. She was in a nursing home now, he told me. Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of town. Now Connie McPherson was in Burlington House. She was in a nursing home. Here is a comprehension check for you, dears. Why did the author go to Bridport? How old was Mrs. McPherson now? Where was she? I hope that you are able to answer all these questions after reading this paragraph. I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. There were paper chains up in the hallway and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angel on top. Lopsided, which means biased, which means slanting angels on top. I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. McPherson to bring her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. Now it's a Christmas celebration on a nursing home. The matron is a senior female nurse who used to take care of the entire nursing home, had a hat on too, and seemed happy enough to see me. She even offered me a mince pie. Mince, it's a mixed fruit which used to make a pie. Pie, which means it's like a pizza which we are eating now. She walked me along the corridor. Mrs. McPherson is not in with the others, she told me. She's rather confused today, so we thought it best if she had a good rest. She has no family, no one visits. So I am sure she'll be only too pleased to see you. She took me into a conservatory. Conservatory, it's a storehouse with wicker chairs. Wicker chair is a chair which made up of a twig of a plant, usually which has a flexible branches. And potted plants all around and left me. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. She had silver white hair pinned into wispy, which means a small bundle of bun. She was gazing out at the garden. Gazing, which means staring. She was staring at the garden. Hello, I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly, which means with no interest. Happy Christmas, Connie, I went on. I found this, I think it's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was a moment her eyes lit up with the recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. Suffused, which means spread. After seeing a letter, her face was completely spread with happiness, the glow of happiness. She would have misunderstood me as Jim McPherson, the author, was thinking. I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. For a while, she said nothing, but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. Tenderly, which means gently with her fingertips. Suddenly, she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. You told me you'd come home by Christmas, dearest, she said. Obviously, she would have misunderstood the author as Jim McPherson, her husband. That is the main reason she was uttering these words. And here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. She was considering the arrival of the author as the best Christmas present in the world, as she was suspecting him as a husband. Come closer, Jim dear. Sit down. I sat down beside her and she kissed my cheek. You read a letter so often, Jim, every day. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me. And now you are. She was completely pondering about her husband. Her mind was completely ringing about her husband. Now you are back. You can read it to me yourself. Would you do that for me, Jim dear? I just want to hear your voice again. She was begging to hear a voice of her husband, so that she was asking the author to read a letter. As she was thinking the author as her husband, Jim McPherson. I would love that so much. And then perhaps we'll have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake. Marzipan all around. Marzipan, actually it's a confection, it's a sweet which you used to make for Christmas Eve. I know how much you love marzipan. That's all the lesson over. I hope you all enjoy the lesson. Now it's your part. Answer these comprehension checks and try your best to prepare a question bank. I'll see you in the next session with the abstract of a lesson. We'll have a quick recapitulation of a lesson in the next session. Thank you, dears.